Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and I'm here again with another Real 50 Over 50 interview. And today we have Diana Dunbar Place. She's the founder and CEO of Third Act Quest and the 333 Collective, and she's also our 150th member. So you can go back a few weeks and see another interview with her. Diana's an inspirational speaker and coach. She's the host of AHA Stories and 333's Biennial Quest Gathering. The next one is in April 2026 in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And she is on a mission to redefine life after 50 for herself and for others. And after an impressive 40-year career, she took a leap of faith to embrace her own passions and talents and to have a bigger impact. She launched the Third Act Quest in 2018 with the dream to reframe the perception and experience of life in our 50s, 60s, and 70s and beyond through initiatives and experiences that connect and inspire women as they envision, explore, and create their own third acts. Personally, Diana and I have danced around each other for quite a while in this 50 realm. And a couple of months ago, 3 people in one day told me that we needed to connect, and we did. And there is so much alignment in what we do. And the better that I get to know her, the more I see and feel that we are the yin and the yang, and it's kind of baked into how we're wired. I'm not sure where this is all going, but it's going somewhere. And
I'm
we're
up
just
for the
getting
adventure
started.
if you
Yeah,
are.
me too. And we're just getting started. So welcome, Diana.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. I have to say that my fascination with life in general is around connection.
Mhm.
And I'm not only fascinated to meet like-minded souls in this world, but also to sort of get the backstories on people. And it reflects in my work. And I love that you and I, God knows how many years ago you started the Real 50 Over 50, but I was sitting in my chair around the same time saying, I love that older women are being featured, but they're
Mhm.
always the actresses,
Mhm.
the important politicians, the famous ones. How about the like real ones
Yeah.
that are out there doing really cool stuff? So we didn't even know each other, and we had this same "this
Yeah.
must be" kind of thing. So I'm excited that we
Yeah.
finally connected.
Yeah, me too. And this all started for me like accidentally 2.5 years ago. Yeah, this was not on the plan.
Oh, I love it.
But it's kinda taken over. But anyway, let's talk about you. So what 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 was that line in the sand when you chucked the 40-year career and decided to do something else?
You know, it's very interesting. Call it a line in the sand, call it as what I'm calling this new thing I'm about to share in the world more broadly, aha moments. And I think we all have small, medium, and large aha moments. And they really come in so many different forms. And they have for me, as I'm sure for every single woman who's listening or person who's listening to this. But I'll quickly just say 2 things. I had a number of ahas that led me gradually to a place where after almost 40 years of dancing on the edges of my passions. And when I say that, I mean, oh, I love creating and I love this. And I would always find interesting roles in the corporate world that led me to be adjacent,
Mhm.
not fully in. I
Yeah.
was, call it confidence, call it fear, whatever it was at the time, I edged closer, more closely. My biggest aha when I was young was around, oh shit, I need to make a bigger impact than this role I had, albeit fun and rewarding at an ad agency. It just like, what am I doing for the
Yeah.
world? So I hit that, but then later it was really a confluence of things that led me to ditch my career. Mostly, it was about being a mother at 41 and saying, what am I doing? I'm giving my heart and soul to a corporation. But then further down the path, my biggest aha was right before Third Eye Quest was born, and that was around an external disruption. And I think external disruptions in our lives are some of the most powerful moments that can instigate an aha, a shift, a decision. Like, no, I'm not going to continue doing this job that's sucking me dry, or no, this isn't truly me. Why am I wasting my time? So that's why I love the idea of third act quest, and the possibility for us, as we are at a place where if we've had a family, we're empty nesting, and if we've had a career and we were pushed out because of our age, I mean, we can fight it, or we
Yeah.
can say, and this is why I love what you do so much, this is me. This is what I have gathered and experience and wisdom, and I am going to figure out how I can offer it in the world. And that's, to me, that is the ultimate tapestry we can build. So for me, all these little ahas, and some big in the middle, have led me here
Mhm.
to what I'm doing. And when people ask me what I'm going to do when I retire, I'm 66. I'm like, I am not planning to
Yeah.
ever retire. This is what I want to do with my life. I love this stuff. So anyway, you asked me a simple question. I gave you a very long answer, but I hope it that's me. But I hope it sort of helps anyone listening to start to mine their own memories now that they can really focus on who they are, not just what they're supposed to do in the world, on the ahas. What are they telling you? What's that little voice inside you that's getting really, really loud, trying to tell you? Anyway, that's my answer to your very
And you
nice
gotta
question.
listen to that voice, or other
Ab-
things start to take root to get your attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ah, my goodness. So, before we went live, we were talking about something,
Mm,
um, and, I don't know how to start this. So, it's about being online and, being on social media and, um, you know, is it worth our time? Is it worth our effort? How do we connect? What are alternative ways of connecting?
mhm.
Um, doing things that matter versus things we're told to do. All of these are, you know, conversation points that we can kind of work through around this topic. Um, and 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 safety. I mean, I think at this age that we're in, we want to feel safe wherever we go, and um, and we want to be around people that we want to be around, not just random communities or random spaces online. And I think with our businesses, I know I'm not going to say I think I know with our businesses, we want to do something that is important and needed
Mm,
and appreciated and makes an impact and encompasses what we have uh, learned and accumulated over the years, because
absolutely.
there's so many things. There are so many things. And I think it's really important that we take inventory of this. And when we share, if we're not including all of our parts, people aren't seeing us fully. And that's where there's a disconnect in communications.
Yeah. I think I shared with you this morning, I woke up and for some reason the algorithms on LinkedIn were serving up all sorts of posts. And I started hearing from um, women in our 333 collective community and women that follow me that they're like, I never see your posts anymore. Um, and coincidentally, over the last year, I think you schooled me a little bit on LinkedIn's um, sort of following in the footsteps of what occurred a number of years ago on Facebook, where the algorithms are limiting us. Now AI's joined the party to help that happen. And we've all been told, and that's why I love your work so much, we've all been told, to try to maximize our followers and boost our posts and try to get to more people. And as I said to a friend this morning, like, like, I don't care that there's some dude up in Vancouver eating Cheerios that wants to see what I have to say. What I care about and what you live for, which is to help us all. And this is where I'm excited about what the 333 Collective does and what you are building and expanding, which is to get to talk to the right people, like-minded people, connect in a truly meaningful way, as you say, to get to know the whole of us,
Mhm.
not just the face we, fix up and put on social media. So I'm certainly one, and I love the thoughts that, I'm starting to have in conversations with people like you about how do you leverage social media? Like for LinkedIn, for me, is discovering and exploring and connecting with really interesting women
Mhm.
who are like me, passionate
Yeah.
about aligning and supporting each other in this really cool chapter of life. Some women that I've connected with are very active in the world of countering ageism and doing influential work in the workplace. Filmmakers who are defining the different ways that we can age. There's so much really cool stuff happening. So I'll always use it. But
Yeah.
for my own communication, I'm getting closer and closer to believing that the organically growing communities, the private, personal communities we're creating for ourselves are the way to go.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And, I think, as social media is taken over more and more by bots and, people that are just looking for a transactional um, relationships or being a commodity online rather than a human being. Um, it's going to be harder and harder for us to stand out and not worth the time and effort to put into it. So investing in either starting a community or joining established communities and investing the time in being, a known member, a voice in these communities is really important because you can choose where you want to be. And
Yeah. Like my early part of my career and a lot of my career when I joined AOL back in the 90s before I even knew what email was, but I love the whole concept of the right people at the right time in the right way, in a true way of communicating. In 333, um, I've been very careful. I've been afraid
Mhm,
that it will start becoming a place where people are joining with an intention to get followers,
yeah,
sell their stuff, and I
yeah,
want it I like to say, "This is about getting to know, like, and trust each other."
mhm,
Yeah, if you're a realtor and you're in my community, we're talking about life, we're talking about bigger things, but if I'm gonna sell my house, chances are I will
mhm,
choose to work with you. So that kind of know, like, trust, in the old days, it was referral. It was you ask a friend, where did you get that? Where do you understand this service? The internet exploded things so we can hear from people from all over the world, which is cool in some ways, but one of the women in this chat just asked, how do we reach out to those that are not working in the aging industry? I mean, there's so many cool ways, and this is where you shine to explore and use these platforms to meet and see and connect with people that you might find helpful in some dimension of your life,
well,
whether it be health or
m
other.
my general rule for, like, setting up online platforms is your website is your sales funnel, it's your sales team, it's, put everything there that, people can go find you, and then they can, in their own space, in their own comfort zone, they can learn all about you. The social media is not about sales. Because think about it's about, it's social, right? So think about how
Yeah.
you show up in real life. Like, if you run into somebody in the supermarket, you haven't seen them in 3 months, are you gonna say, "Oh, click here, and you can buy my something or other," you
That's
know?
a good
You would
idea.
never
I'll do
do
that.
that. You would say, "Hey, Joanne, how are you? How's the kids? How's your dog?" You know, whatever, but you would not try and sell them something. And, and this is what people do, is like that first introduction is, let me sell you something, or let me give you something free, but I'm going to get your email address, and then I'm going to bombard you with crap, um, or I'm going to stick you into an AI funnel, and I'm going to try and sell you what you do for a living. um, I mean, I got an email yesterday that said, "Oh, Donna Cravata, we heard what Cravata Media Group did for you. We can do better." And I'm like, "Did you see the name? It's not Smith, you know?" So,
I
like,
have been offered lots of money to sell my business, and I'm like, "You don't know my numbers. I'm private, what the heck?"
but it's, there's such a disconnect with that. And, just
So
like, if
true.
you're not sure what to do, just take a step back and say, if I was just in a room with these people, how would I behave? And that's what you do. It's
Uh,
really simple.
yeah, I think that's the thing that we finally can shed after all the years. I believe in our midlives, if we have careers of any sort, we're doing what we should do, and we are putting on the appropriate
No,
masks
no, no, we're not
to
doing what we
present
should
in the
do, we're
world.
doing what we want to do.
Now that's what we get to do. Now
Yeah,
it's not, I'm seeing a lot more, not just, women in the third act, I like to call it. I'm seeing a lot more of a shift to more authenticity. And thank you very much, Brene Brown, of course,
mhm,
for making us feel comfortable with being open and vulnerable. I mean, and that's why, just to give a little plug for the aha storytelling vision I have, which is I really, really believe that, and everybody personally does too, and all indigenous cultures get the power of storytelling. And not only do we get to see ourselves when someone shares their story, we get to know them
yeah,
on a real level. And that's one of the things that you do with these 50 over 50 conversations. And I am beginning to do more and more with the aha stories that I'll start sharing. Um, and we'll start sharing together in person gatherings as well as Zoom. I have to say, I launched a series called Third Act Storytelling during the pandemic. Thank you, Zoom. And there was such a wonderful reception, and a number of people jumped on. Yeah, it was a pandemic and they needed that kind of interaction. But what I learned afterward is most of the storytellers were craving to stay in touch with each other because they
yeah,
shared this philosophy and excitement and curiosity about life. So that's why 333 was born. And some of our founding members are some of our most engaging active members. Um, I have I have such excitement when I see the number of women that are all about sharing stories. I see a couple that popped in
yeah,
here, Christina Vidovich, who
yeah,
just had this really cool event in DC, Women Getting Visible, all about aligning and supporting each other and getting our voices out. This is our time. This is
it really is.
when we can step out and use our wisdom and our intentions to make a positive impact in this world. Amy Collette just joined also, which I was
Mhm,
excited to see. And Amy helps women make an impact through their stories in books. I mean, there's just so many wonderful podcast hosts and authors that are all over the place now. And yeah, social media is a way that we get to know them maybe, but we get to know them better when we can find different ways to connect with them,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But also, like, one of the ways that I use social media, I would say it's the primary way I use it, and for years, is I go find the people I wanna meet, and then I say hello. I search, and I listen, and I think
Mm.
about who do I want around me? I don't remember who originally said this, but I learned this from a coach early on in my business. I think it was Jim Rohn, that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah,
That's my approach to social media. Not everyone.
this is another along that thread. I was talking to an old colleague who said, "So how's this 333 collective going? How many members do you have?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're at about 150." I said, "But I don't want it to get big. I
Yeah.
want the connections to stay real. I want it to grow, of course, because I believe we can have little mini circles of women around different interests. And that's what the collective vision is." But
Mhm,
he shared this article in the BBC called The Dunbar Number. And if you look, my middle
mhm,
name is Dunbar, but it basically says, and these are older numbers perhaps, but it has this radiating listing of numbers. And it basically says 150 is our limit for true connection. 5 are
mhm,
the intimate ones, like you mentioned, but it
mhm.
radiates out. Social
Yeah,
media has changed that, but that's why we get overwhelmed and confused and barraged
yeah,
and disconnected
yeah.
and want to step away. So I find that fascinating too. So.
There's another, thing, Kevin Kelly did this, probably around 2003. He did, a whole research piece on you only need 1,000 true fans, and
Mm,
if you have 1,000 true fans, you could build a $100,000 a year business. And it's brilliant, and because you're building that relationship with 1,000 people. But the other thing that this does is it puts everything into perspective, because it's really so easy to get sucked into that pool of bright and shiny objects. And there are marketing people out there that are very skilled at selling, and they're waiting for somebody who is 55 years old, that just came out of corporate and has no clue that this is a whole new world, that they just they just, like, they transverse the Rubicon. And when you realize, like, oh, to have $100,000 a year business, I really need to connect with 1,000 people. And that simplifies everything. And out of that, how many clients do you actually need? Do you need 20 clients? Do you need 30 clients? All right, so now scale everything back to that. What do I need to do to create a relationship with 20 or 30 people?
Well, think about this too. I have a number of friends who have brick and mortar businesses. I have a dear friend, Ellen, who has this unbelievably successful spa. Now, in some ways, it restricts her
Mhm,
because, she can't go see her granddaughter in Europe as easily. And that's where her home is. But what I see more is more of a regionalization too of what people are endeavoring to have complement this wide open universe.
mhm,
And I think that's part of a craving back to truly knowing people and not just calling them a contact in a
yeah,
networking kind of thing. They truly know them and they care about them. And so, whatever the size of the universe is, I think we're all seeking like I talk about the power of deep, true connection. A, because it's me and what I crave, but I think it's what we all need. We want to be seen and heard and known for who we are and not necessarily standing behind a posy kind of way of talking about how many books we have or how many
no,
titles we have.
no,
It's like we're people. Like,
yeah.
who am I?
But that's
Who really am I?
I'm gonna bring that back to safety again. When
Yeah.
we feel safe, we feel safe to be vulnerable and share who we truly are. If we're not feeling safe, then we create this alternative version of ourselves that we put out to the world, and nobody connects with that because it's not real.
Yeah. I did this thing at our last Quest gathering. I called it Flashback to Five. And I asked the women that were coming to send me pictures of themselves as 5-year-olds. And we used it as a way to say, okay, who is she? Because she is still there. That is the beginning to understanding the foundational essence of who we truly are.
Yeah.
Now, of course, experiences add on to wisdom and understanding. Um, and I'm going to just pull from this Brene Brown book, Strong Ground, that I'm reading, that blows my mind around the topic of paradox.
Mhm.
And when we get to this age, this is when we get to say both and. I'm this and I'm that. And it's okay. That tension of struggle between being what I like to say, oh, I'm very compassionate and caring, but sometimes I judge. I'm very curious. I'm like so curious. I have to know it all. But
Mhm.
sometimes I'm content and stuck in my lane. So
Mhm.
it is so cool that instead of being worried about who we truly are, we can embrace
Yeah.
all parts of us, our whole parts.
Yeah.
And I think that's what aging and being at this age gives us, this great gift. And if I can connect with other people who agree with me, it's a lot more fun
Yeah.
than the people that are trying to tell me to get 10 billion followers to make my business grow.
Well, here's the thing too, and this isn't just financial success I'm talking about. I don't think that you can truly be successful until you do incorporate all of those parts because there's always
Yeah.
something missing. And you're always going to be looking to how do I, you have a piece missing. And that's when you start to look externally for somebody else to give you the answers. But you don't
Yeah.
have those. Nobody else has those answers for you. You just need to kind of knit these pieces together so you can show up whole. And that's when people really hear you. That's when they really see you. That's when they feel you. Because the way that social media works is when they can feel you before they can see you or hear you. And then that's what you're going for.
Yeah, and that's again the power of story, is whether it be your own story or those that I'm collecting from Third Act Women, which are just blowing my mind because every single one of them starts with a moment of aha and
Mm,
clarity and a decision and a shift, but inevitably they all tie it up to not just their own insight with what they learned about that and what they did, but what they want to share,
yeah.
what they want to share to, maybe there are 10 million people that hear their story or one person.
Yeah,
They
it
want to
doesn't
make
matter.
sure they help
Yeah.
where they want to help in the world. That we all need that now. We all really need that now.
Yeah, though I mean, like you're, I think, my 134th interview, and what I've learned through these stories from my own personal life and other things that I've absorbed along the way, um, is that like when you get into this third act zone, I mean, you're doing the work that it's not optional. Like you can't stop. I'm not stopping. Like, if somebody pays me or they don't pay me or it doesn't even matter. I'm showing up and I'm doing this every day, and it really doesn't matter. I can't stop it. If
Well,
I did,
isn't
I'd
that the
probably
aim
hurt
of life?
something.
If I'm looking over at my huge stack of books, Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. I mean, meaning is foundationally, it's first of all understanding who you are.
Mhm.
And, I can't tell you the number of people who get all stressed out when you ask, or when they are feeling like they're supposed to know their purpose. I think it just takes time to sit in yourself and accept the wholeness of yourself.
Yeah.
But when you figure out what you believe you're called to do in this life, is fabulous. But what's even better is being open to having that change. I said this to my daughter when she was graduating from college. I said, since you were 8, you wanted to save the oceans, to use her language. I said, and you've gotten this really cool job that you're doing this, but do not freak out if you decide to change, if you decide something else is calling you. So I think that's, I'm getting off on this whole vision of how our lives can be.
Mhm.
And, we started to talk about social media. Social media cracks us open and allows us to find these people
Yeah.
that we might want to
Mm.
learn from and
Yeah.
hear their stories.
Yeah. I
Um,
view it as a treasure chest.
yeah.
I don't, it's not. I don't, I think I've run $600 worth of ads in all the years I've been doing social media, and that's from the beginning because I never really cared for that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I didn't wanna get in front of, like, mad traffic. I wanted to get in front of the people I knew I could help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe in person to person referral recommendation. I mean, you
Mhm,
said 3 people in the same day said, "Hey, you should know Diana." That that's the way a very, I think, meaningful business grows. Like
mhm.
you've also mentioned, isn't scattershotting, even though, social media ads say, "Oh, we're highly targeted." Maybe you get in the right demo, but they're not necessarily at the time of their lives or at the time in the
But
moment that they really give a damn about what you're doing.
here's the thing. If you're putting ads out, people are viewing it as an ad. So whatever you're putting in there, their first reaction is, "Wait, why do I need this?" But if you just show up in somebody's post and you say something meaningful about whatever it is they shared, that's a whole different first impression.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And if you take the amount of time that people spend trying to go viral or, make the perfect post or show up like somebody else did it as a team of 20 people, if you just spend 15 minutes a day just poking around using the tools that are in the systems already to search and narrow down, like the things about people that you would want to find and come up with a list and found 5 people a week that you can connect with in a meaningful way. At the end of the year, that's 260 something people. And, what can you do with like let's just say 265. What can you do with 265 meaningful connections a year
Yep.
versus you know, trying to figure out tricking the algorithms. That's just not a good use of time.
Should I put the comment in now, or should I add my link or not, or how many
Yeah, who
hashtags?
cares? I mean, when that whole thing happened of, like, you have to put your link in the comment, I said, "I don't wanna. Not doing that. This isn't Instagram. I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know what? And now that was for a little while, and now it's back to put the link in the text. I was like, "Okay, good. Now I don't have to stop doing that because I never stopped in the first place."
Yeah, I appreciate all of that, and I love it. I love, leveraging the tools we have at our hands
Yeah,
to the best of our ability to not overwhelm us or follow any rules, but to have it work in a way that saves us time so we can do what we love doing. And
exactly. Let me
and
tell you,
and it's not social media posting, that's for
no,
sure.
no, I have done stuff with AI in the last 2 weeks that, like, I had to leave the house because I lost my breath. It was stunning, stunning, stunning. Um, I mean, I'm gonna change somebody's life tomorrow with what I created through AI. Just like
You
my son, who's
Yeah.
23, who will not use AI, was selling this car that died, and I just went into perplexity, and it gave me an entire, everything for how to sell this car. It gave me Facebook groups for Subaru enthusiasts, Facebook posts, all of these things, mechanics that only work with Subarus. So I copied and pasted everything, sent it to him in a document this morning, and he was like, "Holy shit, mom."
Took me 5 minutes, kid. Well, I just wanna bring up an AI benefit. I
Okay.
mean, there are lots of health benefits of, like, really getting to the bottom and having real legitimate sources, not having a Google search, but, you introduced me to Lisa Danforth, who is, an expert in human design and understanding. Now, I'm fascinated by the concept of human design and gene keys and things like that. But, when I ran my test, I was like, what the heck? But I met with her, just so you want to know, I met with her yesterday and I said, I'm struggling because as part of that, you need to understand not just birth date, location, but you need to understand to get a really good reading. what time of day. And so I couldn't find it, and my parents have passed, and my birth certificate and didn't have it, but I did a search this morning, and they told me, "Oh, you have to request the long form, the blah, 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 and here's your link. Do it." And it's like, that's not something I could have found in a Google search. I found it with my AI tool. And to me, eh, I don't know, it's a simple example, but it's powerful.
It's
It's
very
just
powerful.
powerful what we can now do.
Yeah.
And you mentioned safety. There's a lot of fear around it.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I was saying, how can we detect AI videos? You know, there's so many with the bear attack, the boy on the porch kind of stuff. There are now little pings that I'm understanding are going to start popping up so we
Yeah,
can know.
all of that will get better. I mean, it's
Oh, it
new.
has to.
It's new and it's moving so fast. And I think a big part of it is we need to learn how the tools work because these
Yeah.
tools are being built into everything we do. We could not assume that somebody else is going to know this for us.
Yeah.
And as being women in this stage of life, um, this gives us a gift to be relevant for as long as we choose to be relevant, because
Mm,
we'll be able to stay ahead of the curve. And, but you have to know how to use the tools. You
yeah.
can't, buy something that somebody else built and they're not a software engineer. They just bought a $20 subscription to ChatGPT and now they're building custom things on the front end of it. You don't know what they built on the back end. They probably don't know what they built on the back end. And quite honestly, your needs are simple. Really learn how to engage with these tools.
I love what you like. Every time we have a conversation, you tell me something else that I can use, a tool that I didn't know about in a way that was going to like save me so much time. And I mean, I look at you as my research department and a visionary leader at the same time. And so I think it's really cool. It's really cool to know
I
you.
mean, the work that I do before AI, it would take me like 3 weeks to come up with a strategy plan for a client because there was so much research involved. I could do it in 5 or 6 hours now,
Wow.
and it's
Beautiful.
better, and it's better.
You and it's comprehensive, and it also I love, a lot of people say, "Oh, using AI tools
Mhm.
is, like plagiarism." And I'm like, "No. If I put in a prompt, if I wanna get help with a social media post is what I use for sometimes, I'll put in so much detail about what I
Mhm.
wanna say, but my brain's all over the place. I'm
Mhm.
like, "Use my words, use my
Yeah,
voice, just clean it up."
yeah,
And it's like hiring a fabulous ghostwriter like Gail Harris, or it's like
yeah.
finding somebody who can distill your thinking and make it clear and good. Um, anyway,
You have to learn how to use them. You can't just, be active with the front end of it. Understand the back end of it. Doesn't need to be a lot, just really an understanding of how it works and how you can engage with the tools. Use them as a thought partner. They're
yeah,
really good. They're really good at picking up things that you are not going to pick up. Like, upload a couple of your podcast interviews or things that you wrote and ask it to find the patterns. It's so good at that. And it's going to identify things that you don't even see because you're too close to it.
yeah. Your Friday Finds newsletter, I see that
Yeah,
Amy
so Amy just put
loves
stuff
that.
up.
And like, it's so much fun. It's so much fun, and it's not overwhelming.
No. Wait, I've
It's
got
so
some
much
good
fun.
stuff coming in this one.
Oh, really?
I found something this morning. I went down a rabbit hole.
Oh my lord. Um, well, also, I just want to thank you too, for opening up, and sharing in the 333 Collective. You've already highlighted, I think, 5 of our members in your the real 50 over 50 conversations. And to me, that is, and it's not because you want to be nice. It's because they're the right fit.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love too about collaborating, you and I, but also all the collaborations that we're able to explore in our lives, you know, the like-minded people we meet that want to, you know, I love this, the number of people I meet that are doing exactly what I'm doing in a slightly different way.
Mhm.
I've had people with membership groups say, well, why would you want to support this? Because I'm competing with you. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Oh,
We need to help each other, because if people, I said, I use the analogy of a gas station. Like, you go into a town, there are 4 different gas stations on each corner. You choose the one either that you find first or the one that you really like the best, maybe the one with the best price. But at the end of the day, I don't want people to choose my community to be in if somebody else is more appropriate and more meaningful for
mhm.
them. And that's a different way of thinking than where we're custom, you know, we're customary in the competitive world that many of us have lived in the corporate world.
I think a lot of that has to do too, like, how long you've been out of corporate and where you worked,
Yeah.
because I'm out 19 years, so, that's like another lifetime ago.
I know. I still reflect a lot back on it also,
Mhm.
because not only um, the roller coaster, but the value of it. But I also use it every day to remind me of how blessed I am to
Yeah.
be building my own thing. Not
Yeah.
because I'm a control freak, though I can be sometimes, but because I um, I felt so lost in some of the last years of my corporate life with people who were money seekers, ego driven, short-sighted humans. And
Yeah.
that is, thank God, is I'm starting to see change a lot in the corporate world, but is so endemic and
It really
challenging.
is. I mean, other than the personal reasons why I quit my job was, like, the last project I was on, I had to, build a case for somebody to get fired, and she deserved to be fired. And then they didn't fire her, and I had to work with her. And I was like, "I'm just not down for this. I can't leave my child to do this. I just can't."
Yeah, I got asked to gather 30 people in a conference room and handed a script to lay them off as a group. Um, and the script was a lie. It
Mm,
was the legally based lie, so
mhm,
they wouldn't get sued for
yeah.
the
Yep.
downsizing. And I looked the HR woman in the eyes and said, "I will not say this." She
Yeah.
goes, "Yes, you will." I said, "No, I will not." And I did not. And I soon thereafter left. So we have very similar reasons for like,
Yeah.
this is not me.
They did that in my firm too. They had a they lured people into a conference room with lunch and then gave them a brown bag lunch in a box to pack their stuff, and they had a therapist sitting on a chair outside the door.
I think it's just insane
It
that
was insane.
insane. I'm just tripping down memory lane, reminding myself of how glad I am away from it. I understand that companies need to let people go. I
Yeah,
understand
yeah, yeah, but that's
to
not how you
right
do it.
size, to adjust to shifts and all that kind of stuff. The methods are not human,
No, no, no,
not human.
no.
And that's what we're building, you and I and all of the women that we're aligning ourselves with. We're building human um, based businesses that
Well,
are,
we're proof.
yeah,
We're evidence. It can be
yay,
done. There's
yay.
another way. There's another way.
There's another way.
Yeah.
Love
Okay.
it.
We this was supposed to be 30 minutes.
Whoops.
Oops.
Whoops. Well, I have to say, I was very excited to see some of the comments that popped in over
Yes.
time. It was such a wonderful conversation. Um, I value our friendship and our collaborations and who the heck knows what happens next, but I'm really excited.
Who knows? We're gonna meet in person on Sunday.
Yay! That's a blast.
But thank you all for coming, and thank you, Diana. And let me pop up your website here. Everybody, please connect with Diana. She has this amazing community, and you can come in for the first 2 months without paying, and then even the pay, it's really, really affordable.
It's a
So
Panera Bread lunch.
yeah, yeah. It's really it's not even anything to consider as an expense. It's an investment in
Oh, thank
connecting
you,
with
Donna.
people. But it really is a special place, and I don't join very many things. I'm very jaded at this point.
It
But I'm
helps.
really
That
happy to
that
be
means
there.
a lot.
I'm really happy to be there. She does it differently. She's naturally inclined to be a connector of people. And, I've met so many people that you're connected to over the last couple of months, and everything starts with like 15 minutes of Diana Love Fest. So, um,
Wow. That makes well, I have to say the paradox of me is, yeah, I really live on this earth, and I believe my time is to help and support and connect and listen to people.
yeah.
But it does feel good when people get something out of that. It does feel good. My little ego does need some stroking every once in a while. So thank you.
You know why? You know why? Because this shit's a lot of work. It might look easy from the outside. It ain't easy.
Well, I used to ask this question, and this is way out there, but I used to ask this question. I said, because I started a cause marketing firm when I was younger, and I said, am I doing this for the good of all that I am able to impact? Or is there selfish desire to know that I can make an impact? And I said, how about Mother Teresa? Is she the only really purely motivated intention? And it's an eternal question, but I think at this age, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, our intentions must be true, but at the end of the day, it's okay to emotionally benefit from those intentions, right?
It is because that's what drives us.
Yeah,
That's what drives. If it's fully depleting, we're not going to want to keep doing it.
right. Yeah, and I also think, and I'll shut up, but to me, there's this quote by June Jordan, which just totally turns me on. It says, "We are the people we've been waiting for." So
Mm.
we've got to
Oh
step
my
up,
God.
shine our lights, and boom, help as many people, young and old, as we can
I've never
before we
heard
say goodbye.
I've never heard that quote, but what I keep telling everybody, like the people in this real 50 over 50 community are the people you're out there looking for. I've been saying that for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it really is. I mean,
Oh,
this is the small group. I mean, between the people in Diana's group and the people in my group, they are all and they're mingling and commingling in different ways already, which is so much fun to watch.
it is fun, and it even gets more fun. I mean, technology, Zoom has given us this gift. Um, But, one plug for the AHA stories. So my vision for that is the way I grow 333. It isn't through social media ads. It's the members of 333 raising their hands to host an AHA story gathering in their living room, in a local restaurant, maybe a big theater that they have a friend that runs. I just really want us to gather together and share our stories. And that's what you do so beautifully too.
Yeah, and it was all accidental.
Yay.
Go figure. Anyway, let's end this again.
We could talk for hours. Bye-bye.
See you all next week. If you're watching the replay, have questions, comments, ideas, tag us. We'll come back and we'll keep the conversation going. And we have got interviews every Wednesday, and going forward, for November and December, on the third Wednesday of the month at noon, we're doing meet and mingles. You can get the link over on the website. And starting in January, it'll be the fourth Wednesday of the month every month. And they're open to anybody. Just come and meet and mingle.
Love it. Love, love, love it.
Okay, have a great Wednesday, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Diana.
Thank you.